Hi everybody, my name is Carisa Barker and welcome to my YouTube channel.
All I wanna know, are you thinking about me? I just gotta know. I just gotta know.
In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to create and set successful goals for the coming year. I, for one, am so excited for 2020. I have a lot of goals that I've already set for myself and exciting things that are going to be happening, and I get to bring you guys along for the journey, which is so exciting to me. So if you're not already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. It doesn't hurt you at all, but it helps me a ton, and your support means more to me than you know. I hope everybody had a fun and safe time over the holidays, and without further ado, let's get into the video. One of the hardest parts for me when coming up with goals is knowing what the goals should even be about. Like, what kind of goals should I be setting for myself? So I have broken it down to 6 categories that I think are really important and that everybody should try and come up with a couple goals in each of these categories, and it just makes it a lot easier to think about what kind of goals you should be setting for yourself. Alright, so I'm just gonna go through all 6 really quickly, and then we will go back and dive a little bit deeper into each category, and I'll give you some examples of goals you might want to set. So the 6 categories are spiritual, intellectual, social, physical, financial, and creative. So the first category I said is spiritual. This doesn't need to be about religion. It is more about being mindful and aware of your needs and of your surroundings. So you don't need to be part of a religion to set spiritual goals. It could just be something like meditating a couple times a week so that you can just be a little bit more mindful in general. I personally am religious. I am part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and so for myself I set goals like attending the temple a certain number of times and like reading the Book of Mormon all the way through from start to finish during the year. Things like that. So it doesn't have to be religious, but it also can be. It's totally up to you. Whatever you think is going to make your life a little bit more meaningful and successful. The next category is intellectual, and it doesn't matter if you are done with school, if you're out of college, or if you chose not to go to college, or anything like that. Everybody in school, not in school, should have intellectual goals. There is so much knowledge out in the world and so much to learn, and we should all strive to learn a little bit more each day and just become more educated so that we can be a better, more well-rounded person. For myself, the intellectual goals that I have set so far are that I want to learn conversational French. I took 2 years of French back in high school, so I know some basics, but I don't really know how to have a conversation with somebody. I don't necessarily feel like I need to be fluent, but I do want to be able to be conversational with my French. I also set a goal to raise my cumulative college GPA. I had some rough semesters right when I first started college. I was just still getting the hang of things, and I was going through some stuff in my personal life, so didn't do too hot, but lately I've been doing a lot better and I'm a lot more invested in it, so I'm just trying to slowly but surely raise my GPA. But an intellectual goal could also just be something like reading 3 new books or something like that. It could really be anything that you think will help your life be a little bit better. The next category is social. Maybe not everybody needs to have social goals, but for me personally, I have social anxiety, and so it's really hard for me to get out there and be social, so I did want to set some goals for myself to help me. But yeah, I guess maybe for some people it comes really easily and they don't need these, but maybe if you're like me, you definitely do. So one of the goals that I set for myself is to make at least 1 new friend. This has to be a person that I have not ever met before, that I meet them this year, and that I build a relationship with. I meet a ton of new people every year, but I never take the time to actually like develop a relationship and get to know them because I'm just scared for whatever reason. So I've decided that I want to make 1 new meaningful friendship that can hopefully last. But yeah, that's a goal I've set for myself. And then I really struggle with big crowds and big social events. So I've set a goal to attend at least 5 bigger social events, and it's really hard for me to be in these kind of bigger group situations, but I also think it's really good to push yourself and get out of your comfort zone and do things that make you uncomfortable, because it helps you grow as an individual, and hopefully will help me like build my network a little bit. And yeah, so those are some of my social goals, but again, they could really be anything that you think will benefit your life. The next category is physical, and physical goals are so important to have, but you want to be kind of careful with how you word these kind of goals, because in my opinion, I think it's really bad to set physical goals that are more number-based, like, oh, I need to lose 20 pounds, or I want my waist to be a specific measurement, stuff like that, because that can get a little unhealthy and can cause issues with eating disorders and things like that, which I don't think are good. So I think that with physical goals, they need to be focused more on like how often you want to exercise, or the types of exercises you want to do, or your food intake, if you want to eat more vegetables, or if you want to try going vegan, things like that, because those are a lot healthier goals for your mind as well as for your body. So that's what I recommend for physical goals. Focus less on the numbers and focus more on the lifestyle that you want to have. The next category is financial. It's really, really important to set financial goals for yourself to help you be financially stable and have some financial freedom as well. These goals can be things like paying off your credit card debt or your student loans. It could be something like setting aside a certain amount of money for like a vacation savings or a 401k. A financial goal could also be something like finding a new job that is going to help support you a lot better. Things like that. But being financially responsible and having these set specific goals, creating a budget and sticking to it, those things are going to help you be so much more successful in your life, and it's so important. The final category, the sixth category, is creative goals. Here's where you can have a little bit more freedom with it, and you can make these creative goals be kind of whatever extra goals you want to have. And I even broke my creative goals down into more specific categories. So for me personally, I have a category for travel. I also have a category for YouTube, because those are both things that are really important to me and I want to be successful at throughout this year. But these creative goals can just be about like a hobby you have. I consider myself to be an actress. I do a lot of theater. So I have a goal for myself to be in at least one play or musical this year. I think they're really fun. It helps me grow my talents, and it's a creative outlet for myself. Like I said, I also have travel goals. I have some plans to spend some time in Europe this year, and I'm really looking forward to that. Also, like I said, I have YouTube goals as well. Like, I have a goal to reach 1,500 subscribers, and I'm really far away from that. So if you want to subscribe and help me out, I would really, really appreciate that. But, you don't have to. I just would really appreciate it. So now that we know what types of goals that we're gonna set, we're gonna move on to phase 2, which is more about keeping these goals and how to be successful with them. The first step to being successful with your goals is to believe. Believe in the process and believe in yourself. Believe that you can actually achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. If you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe that setting goals actually works, then the whole thing is kind of pointless, because it's probably not going to work for you. So believe. The next step to being successful is to write it down. Everybody says this, but it's because it is so crucial. If you don't have it physically written down, whether it's on your phone or on an actual piece of paper, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna remember it. Throughout the year, you're gonna forget the goals that you've set, and they're just not gonna happen, frankly. So I like to have my goals on my phone so that I can look at them whenever and wherever I am, but I also like to print them out on a cute little piece of paper, make it all cute and fancy, and hang it somewhere in my room where I'm going to see it every single day and be reminded of those goals so that I'm more likely to be successful. You can put it somewhere like by your bed, on a mirror, on your door, really anywhere that you're gonna see it every day, and constantly be keeping those goals in your mind. The next step is knowing the purpose behind the goals. If you're just setting random goals for absolutely no reason, they're a lot harder to keep, because you don't really know why you set them. You don't have the passion behind them that's driving you to fulfill them. So with all of the goals that you're setting, you need to think, why am I setting this? Is this gonna help me be healthier? Is this gonna help me be more successful? Like, they really need to be things that you're passionate about and that you actually want to make a change in your life. Otherwise, the motivation to achieve it is just not gonna be there. So know the purpose behind the goals. The next step is to make it measurable. This is just so that you can keep track a little bit better, and you're more likely to actually obtain it because it's something that you can calculate. So certain goals that I have for myself, that if they are like number based, so hypothetically I say I want to read 10 new books. I make a cute little page in a notebook where I have 10 little squares, and every single time that I accomplish one of those things, every time I read a new book or whatever it may be, I check it off, and so then I can keep track a little bit better of how many books I've read so far, how many more I need to still read, and I can visually see it that way. And that's super helpful for me, is to like visualize it on a piece of paper and be able to measure it. The next step is extremely important. It is to commit. Everybody at the start of the year says, oh yeah, I want to make these goals, I want to keep them, or whatever, but they never really fully commit themselves to doing it. And so when March rolls around, April, they just lose motivation, lose focus, and they are less likely to do it. But if you fully commit yourself, and at the beginning of the year you say, I am going to keep these goals, and you just commit and put your whole heart into it, you're a lot more likely to be successful as the year comes to an end. Next step is to make a plan of action. Come up with things that you can do right now, that you can do tomorrow, next week, next month to achieve these goals. Don't just say, oh yeah, I'll do that eventually at some point this year. Start working on it now. Make a plan, list out steps, actually start working on it today if you can. And the final step is to have accountability. So for this, you want to tell a friend or a family member what your goals are and ask them to check up on you every once in a while. Say, hey, in 2 months, can you send me a text and just say, hey, how are your goals going? Or to ask you more specific questions that will prompt you to stay motivated and be accountable. Another way to be accountable is to put your goals out on the internet. So kind of like I'm doing right now, where I'm making a YouTube video about it. I'm letting you guys know what my goals are so that it's out there for the world to know, and it makes me feel a lot more responsible to actually fulfill the goals. You could also just make a Facebook post or on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, but let people know what your goals are so that you are more accountable and more likely to see them through. Alright, so that is it for today's video. I know it was a lot of information. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys will be able to use some of this information when setting your goals. If you liked this video, you know what to do. And once again, please subscribe, because it doesn't hurt you at all but helps me a ton, and I really appreciate the support. I try to post a new video every single Thursday, so make sure you hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of my new uploads. You can also follow me on my Instagram if you want. It is at Carisa_Barker. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!